I know you might have gone through many such videos with blurred screens and cracking audios, but trust me, here it is an uninterrupted learning. Hello and welcome back. In this video we're gonna see how easily an org structure be created in SuccessFactors Employee Central. Please watch till the full length with no interruptions, because here you don't find people asking questions intermediately like in other online training videos uploaded on YouTube. Did I just take a jab for the competitor? Anyways, before we hit the deck, the content of this video is the what, wherein we see what is an org structure, the terminology. It is imperative that we know what is what, an example wherein we're gonna design a org structure, and then we'll go and hit the deck wherein we see what are the prerequisites and the configurations. My name is Muhammad Ali and I am a certified SAP HCM and SuccessFactors consultant with 15 years of experience. Currently I am associated with Info Bracket. It's an ardent group of organized subject experts engaged in imparting SAP and other ERP knowledge or the training. If you happen to be new on this page, please do subscribe to our channel by clicking on that red little subscribe button, and also hit the bell icon to be notified as and when we upload new videos. We are glad that we have an official Twitter handle. Please follow us there as well. Now, the what is an organizational structure? So okay, just before we begin on this, now professionally I should not be suggesting you this, but if you are not interested in theory and we're expecting only the practicals in this video, then you have a privilege to fast forward this video till you see the SuccessFactors instance screen. But I advise you to watch the entire video. Now let's begin. Okay, so if we Google out what is an org structure, the very first link we get is from the Investopedia. What they say is an organizational structure is a system that outlines certain activities which are directed in order to achieve certain goals of that organization. Now these activities include the rules, the roles. Didn't that sound like Rolls Royce? Okay, so the activities can include the rules, the roles, and the responsibilities. Okay, the organizational structure also determines how information flows between levels in the company. So basically what they say is an organizational structure is an outline of the activities that are carried inside the organization, and these activities push us to follow those rules, being I mean, like, since we are associated with the roles, and you know, we have our own responsibilities. Now they also say that because of the org structure, we are also you know, it also determines how an information be flown inside the organization. Okay, so that is how the Investopedia says. But per me, and if I put it in simple words, an org structure is an organized reporting hierarchy built upon creating the relationships between objects, right? So now a question that puts a question, like, since when I say that an org structure is an organized reporting hierarchy which is built upon creating the relationships. Now these relationships are between the objects. The question arises here is, what are those objects? Okay, so those objects is what I'm gonna cover here. Okay, in this next slide, which is the terminology, basically we have these objects, the legal entity, which is the highest level building block of any given org structure, and it is a required field for any employee associated with the organization, because this is a mandatory field in the employee record. At times it is also referred to as a company, because legal entity is nothing but your company. And if you happen to be a SAP HCM consultant, then know that a legal entity is equivalent to a company code in SAP HCM. And okay, so let me also mention that by default a legal entity defines a country, a pay group, a currency, and the standard working hours of an employee associated with this legal entity. At the second level, we have the business unit, which basically is a breakout of operating unit. Though there is no equivalent component readily available in SAP HCM to this, but this is at the second level, which happens or which stands after the legal entity. At the third level, we have the divisions. Usually this is from where it starts to narrow down an employee's to an employee's position inside the organization. Now, like once when we start creating the organizational structure, we'll get to know like why the divisions and all we need. Okay, so let's move ahead at the fourth level, and at this basically would be the last level of the organization. We have the departments. So it is usually here where it starts to narrow down to the teams in the company. What we have, the teams inside the organization. So those teams are basically formed here, and the most of the times the departments are headed by the managers. Okay, so locations are nothing but the physical locations, while the cost centers are the accounts where the employees monetary details, basically maybe the employees payouts or the expenses or the claims what the employee tries to claim are captured. Okay, now before we move ahead, since I kept on repeating saying that these are the 4 levels, these are the 4 levels, these are the 4 levels, you might be having a what if question. Okay, like say, what if an organization is a mid-sized organization? What if you don't need all these 4 levels? Or what if it is the other way around, like what if an organization is huge and you need more levels than these 4 levels? Will SuccessFactors still support if we have either a mid-sized organization or a big organization? Well, my answer is a thumbs up to that. Yes, it does support you. Point A, if you don't want to use all these 4 levels, in case you have a small organization and you want to minimize your org structure and want to take off these objects, yes, you can do that. But I personally suggest you to think of removing business units and against the legal entity and the division and the departments, because a legal entity is a mandatory field, while the divisions and the departments are the key filters during the reporting, during the reports, right? So when you try to take off any of these levels, think of taking off the business units. Now B, what if your organization is a big organization wherein you want to have more number of levels, more than these 4 levels? So in such a case, the legal entity, the business unit, will still remain intact, and along with the divisions, SAP SuccessFactors gives you the flexibility of subdivisions. And similarly, in the department as well, you have something called as sub departments as well. Similarly, we have for the locations as well. So when you are looking for a big org structure, you can make or you can utilize legal entity, business unit, division, subdivision, department, sub-department, location and cost centers. That way you can create a much bigger org structure for your very own organization. This table should give you a fair idea on the available foundation objects in SAP SuccessFactors. For your better understanding, I have categorically arranged them, and also there is a lot to read about these foundation objects. You can easily find it on the internet and you can read about them at your own pace, but my personal suggestion would be to read the comprehensive guide coming from SAP Press, authored by Luke, Murli and Rebecca. So as an example, like I said, at the very first level what we have is a legal entity, and after a legal entity we have the business units. Let's say business unit 1 and business unit 2. We have two business units. Inside business unit 1 we have the divisions. Say we have two divisions, division number 1 and division number 2, and inside this division, maybe here inside division 1 we have departments, say department 1 and say department 2. So this is our org structure basically, right? So in our example what we are going to design here is we are going to create a legal entity, and I'm going to name that legal entity as InfoMatsy, and then we're going to define a business unit, and I'm going to define this business unit and I'm going to name that as info bracket. Now inside this info bracket we have a division which is called as training, right? And inside this training we have a department, and that department is the training for SuccessFactors Employee Central, right? So this is how our org structure stand as of now. We have a legal entity, a business unit, legal entity as InfoMatsy, a business unit as info bracket, a division as training, and a department as the training for SuccessFactors Employee Central. So this is gonna this is what we're gonna design in our live session now. And when we are designing this, we will also be creating the location and a cost center. So this is all is what we're gonna design. So now let's go hit the deck. Okay, so now we are here in the SuccessFactors instance screen. As a prerequisite, we're gonna see if the roles are associated to the specific user. To do that, I go to manage permission roles, and then I click here. I should be going to the permission details. I go to system admin. This should take some time to load because yeah, here we go. I go to the permissions and then I find a specific user permission, which should be somewhere here, MDF foundation objects is what we have. Okay, so this is that specific role, and these are the roles that we should be having. Say, like I said, we're gonna create a business unit. So for the business unit, we have all these roles: visibility, view current, view history. In actions, I'm allowed to create, insert, correct, delete, import and export. So I'm going to create a cost center. I'm allowed to create it, insert, make the corrections, or delete, or import and export. Similarly, I have it for departments and rest of the things. So this is the prerequisite that one should be saying, like we should have the role to get an org structure created. All right. So now what we do is we start creating an org structure. To create an org structure, we go to manage data. Here we go to the manage data, and as a very first thing here in the create new section, we go and create a legal entity. So at the very first level, we have a legal entity. For the legal entity is in an effective date object. So I'm gonna create this legal entity from 1st of Jan 2020, and ID is a unique value that in a unique way identifies a legal entity. So I should be writing a unique value to this legal entity. So like I said, my company is the name of my company is Infomatc. So I'm gonna name that as Infomatc, and the name of my legal entity is Info. And now basically this is how we write the name of our company. Okay, the description is Infomatc. The status of this, I'm gonna keep it active because I'm going to use this legal entity. I'm going to have the employees in this. I'm going to add the employees in this, so I'm going to keep the status of this legal entity as active. Default pay group and default location as of now are not mandatory, but since we have not we have not created any location, so we don't see it here. And since location is still at the legacy foundation object, so what I do is I open one more window, because here we, like I told you, we have to create a location as well. And to do that, what I'm gonna do is I am gonna go to organizational pay, manage organizational pay and job structure, because this is still a legacy foundation object and is not a MDF object. So let it load. I'm going to create a location, and my location is active from 1st of Jan 2020. I'm gonna name this location as Bangalore. The code and the location is Bangalore. The description not needed as of now, this is just for an example. The status, I'm gonna keep it as active, and the time zone I'm going to use the time zone GMT should be somewhere here +5. This one. Standard weekly hours, I'm going to mention it as 40. That way the employee works 8 hours a day, and country as India. City is Bangalore. So now that I have created a location, I'm going to save it. So the system should prompt me with a message says that successfully a location is created. Now this is my location. I go back to my legal entity screen. Now the location I'm going to find here is MA Bangalore. This is what we created. Standard working hours is 40 hours a week, which means 8 hours a day for 5 days. Currency is INR because my company belongs to India, and the employee associated with this company, or if I put it in another way, the employee belongs to this legal entity, will be paid out in INR, in Indian rupees, and my country is going to be India. So this is what we have created, a legal entity. I'm going to save it now. So it says that this is my legal entity, info maxi, and these are my details. It says we have created and saved it successfully. So now the next step, I'm still in manage data. So the next step is to create a business unit, and our business unit is starting from 1st of Jan 2021. The unit code is a unique value, and my business unit is info bracket, and the name I'm going to give is info bracket. The description I'm going to give is, this is just for the sake of identification, that I'm prefixing MA everywhere just for the sake of training, and I'm going to keep the status as active because I'm going to push the employees in this business unit. Now this is the head of the unit, though this is not a mandatory field, but try to know that this is a employee is in fact a user specific field. So now whoever heads this business unit, you can select him here, so he'll be heading or he'll be owning that business unit. So as of now I don't need it, I'm just leaving it blank. But coming over here, we have an important field which is to legal entity. Now this is the part of association, wherein we are associating this business unit with the legal entity. Now if you want to know more about the associations, yes, we do have a separate video created and uploaded in this channel of ours, YouTube channel of ours. Please do go and watch the full-length video to get in more details about the associations. So now let me stick to the agenda of this video. I'm going to associate my business unit with the legal entity that we created, which is MA underscore Informatsy. One thing I would just want to tell before we go and save this business unit, that these associations happen from bottom to up, which in other way, if I tell it in a SuccessFactors terminology, the associations here happen from child to parent. So I am associating a child with the parent. Business unit is a child and a legal entity is a parent. So with that, I'm going to save the business unit, and here we get notified that we have successfully saved the business unit, and this is what our business unit is. So the next action item in our list is to create the divisions, and the divisions are also the MDF objects, and we create the divisions in manage data itself. So here I go and I key in division. The system should take me to the create screen, and the start date of my business unit would be same as the start date of my legal entity and the business unit, which is 1st of Jan 2021. And in the code I'm going to have a unique code, and that is MA underscore info bracket underscore our division was training, and the name I'm going to give is MA underscore info bracket underscore training, and the description is MA underscore info bracket underscore training. So the status is active, and now know that this is head of the division again. So if you drop down here, you can get to know that this also is a user defined field. Now coming back to this, like this is again an association. Here I am associating my business, in fact my division, with the business unit. Like I told you, the associations happen from child to parent, and my parent or the business unit is MA underscore info bracket, right? So here I'm making a one-to-one association, but if this division is also part of the other business units, you can always click on this button and you can associate this division with other business units as well. But that is what not I'm going to do here, just to keep this training video as simple as it should be. I'm going to save my division, and yeah, we have successfully created the division. Now at the 4th level, what we have is a department. So I key in the department here in the create new tab, and here I'm going to start my department as well from 1st of Jan of 2020. The system will automatically pick the code for the department, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to key in my own department, MA info bracket underscore SF in brackets EC employee central, right? So the name of this department is MA underscore info bracket underscore training for SuccessFactors employee central. To skip that, I do copy paste. Okay, now the status, I'm going to keep it as active. Okay, now this again is a user defined field. So if you want any of your users to head this department, you can name them here and it will be headed by that specific person. here we have parent department. If you have multiple departments inside the departments, then if you have a parent department, you can associate this department with the parent department. But coming over here, the cost center, now since the departments are associated with the money, because there is an expenditure on the department, so we need to associate the departments with the cost centers. Now cost center is a MDF object. It is moved, like maybe in 2017 it is moved from the legacy object to a MDF object. That is one of those reasons why we have a plus button here. So I'm gonna go click here and create a cost center starting from 1st Jan 2021. The code I'm gonna give is an A underscore. I would suggest to keep the cost centers as the numeric ones. So this is my favorite number, so I'm gonna do that. And the name also I'm gonna give 7757. The description is, you might mention cost center for, say, the hiring department or something. If you want to mention it as a description, you can do that, but at the later stage I'm going to keep this as very simple. Activate the status of this, I'll keep it as activate. And parent cost center, we don't have cost center manager. Yes, I mean, like if you have manager, then this is again a user defined field. You can associate a manager with this. But coming over here, cost centers are associated with legal entities. I'm going to associate our legal entity with this, which is our MA underscore informat C. And if this cost center is associated with multiple legal entities, you can associate them by selecting the other legal entities here, but I'm not going to do that here. Well, I'm going to save my cost center. Since I have saved, we have created a cost center associated with the informat C. I'm going to close this. I'm coming back to my department screen, and I'm going to associate our cost center. This is the cost center we have created with this department, and again I'm going to associate our division with our department and our legal entity, which is informat C. Here I'm going to associate that with the department. So now that we created all the 4 levels of the org structure, and now we're gonna see how the org structure is displayed in the system. To do so, I select this button and I go to org chart, and in the org chart I have company overview. In the company overview, I'll select the business overview, and in the search I select the business unit. The business unit I'm gonna search is the business unit we had created, which is info bracket. This is the one. Alright, so this is the structure that we have created, and this says that this business unit has 1 division and this division has 1 department. If you click on that, it should display you the department as well. And if you click on this, it gives you more details like what is the code, what is the unit, and if you click on the history, it says like since when this business unit is active. So isn't it that simple? Alright, so just to summarize, in this video we get to learn about the 4 foundation objects that comprise the entire org structure, and we have configured a sample org structure too. Please do like the video and leave your comments in the below section, and for more such videos, tutorial videos, subscribe to our channel and do not forget to hit the bell icon so that you receive notifications as and when we upload the new videos. See you in the next video. Until then, happy uninterrupted learning. Thank you.